Good morning, everyone. Happy Easter. I'm so grateful to be here with you again. I was here about 10 years ago. So once a decade is not enough. Anticipate resurrection. Anticipate a way to your dreams. For as you say, I have forgiven, so shall you be freed. And all the lilies shall share their innocence. Arise, awake, alive. Anticipate resurrection. I'll sing that one more time for your sake, and then we'll go into the little second part. Anticipate resurrection. Oh, good, you could sing. Anticipate a way to your dreams. For as you say, I have forgiven. For as you say, I have forgiven. So shall you be freed. So shall you be freed. And all the lilies, and all the lilies shall share their innocence. And all the lilies shall share their innocence. Arise, awake, alive. Anticipate resurrection. Anticipate resurrection. Beautiful. There it goes. Baby fingers uncurling, sleep giving way to wakening. Reach out, ooh, bloom, flower, bloom. Seashell chamber, nautilus, Sufi dancer twirling. Reach out, ooh, bloom, flower, bloom. You reaching through, just as babies do. Everything is new. Just maybe the earth turns to greet the sun. The stars are there for everyone. Reach out, ooh. Oh, my goodness. Let's try that again. Ooh, bloom, flower, bloom. Bloom, flower, bloom. Thank you.
And welcome to Oak Brook, this place of love, freedom, and acceptance. I love saying that every single Sunday. Yes, I'm very excited. Okay, so one of the things I want to bring your attention to, there's no PowerPoint today, but I wanted to bring your attention to your calendar here. This goes home with you. You can tack it up on your refrigerator with little magnets, you know. And this, every single month, we'll have a new one. You put it on your refrigerator so you can work your schedule around everything that's happening here at the center of the world. At Oak Brook. This is the center of the world for me. So everything that happens here at Oak Brook, this is where I'm going to be. So I wanted to bring your attention to the 26th, Saturday the 26th of this month, April. We're having our, Reverend Peggy's waving the, oh, we do. How did I not get that? It's probably in mine. Okay, so we have the coffee, music, and conversation from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And we're going to have Miss Amy Steinberg here as our guest performer. She is one of the winners at the Posse Music Awards, and it's just amazing music. So tell your friends, come on down. Yes. Oh, Brian's going to come say something. How awesome is that? We hardly ever hear anything from back there. He's tired now. All that cooking.
All right. So, everybody likes free? Yeah. You don't. If you don't like free, we have issues. The event next Saturday is free. It's free to everybody here. It's free to everybody here plus ever how many you want to bring. There will be more food, which is more cooking. There's also a sign-up sheet if anybody wants to help bring food. I never take away help. I just kind of do my own thing. See Norma for that. The room's going to be a very intimate setting. It's not going to be seating like it is right now. Some of you have actually already seen the pretense of how I'm going to have it set up. Everybody likes coffee? Yes. Or tea? Yes. Anybody ever been to a coffee shop or coffee house where they have singers who just come in and they sing one or two songs and go from there? That's going to be the setup. It's going to be very intimate. You're pretty much going to be able to reach out and touch somebody. So everybody who's involved has been very involved. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the littlest guru will make another appearance. The Joyful Noise and the kids, they're only singing a couple of songs. We do have the Ocala Symphony Orchestra coming in to perform for a while. Amy Steinberg, of course, is closing the show. She will be performing at the end for quite a while. Yep. Amy Steinberg's music is playing in the library. Yep. Westport Guitar Ensembles 1 and 2 are showing up. We're going to have outside area for the kids, as well as if for ever any reason you feel the need that you have to go outside and get some fresh air and stand underneath the porch, you won't miss anything that happens in here. There is actually a speaker set up out there, and everything that's in here, unfortunately even my voice right now, is coming through the speaker outside. It's been one of those things that we've been working on doing, and now it's done. So.
Thank you.
No.
Okay. One more.
That was from
Thank you. Yes. I just want to add a little bit more about our coffee, music, and conversation event. We're really looking at it as a precursor, kind of get people excited about the idea of Ocala. So we're asking people who come to please bring your stories of kindness and compassion where you have been the recipient or maybe you were the giver. Because we're really looking to start a revolution right here. We can do this right here in Ocala. And you know, where we put our focus and we put our attention, that is what grows in consciousness. You know, there's plenty of negativity to go around. But we know that there is also lots of kindness and lots of wonderful things going on, and we want to bring attention to that. So please bring your stories. Please bring your friends. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be inspiring. And if you come and you hear Amy Steinberg playing Sunday morning and you missed the day before, you're going to be very sad. I'm just telling you, because she's awesome.
And speaking of having her music in the bookstore, we also have some of the wonderful music of our harpist in the bookstore. So feel free to grab those CDs. They're an amazing price, and there's only a few of them, y'all. So it's a first come, first served deal. There's not that many, so yeah, we're gonna have to have Lita put me aside one. All righty. Coming up next week, we have yoga at 10 o'clock on Tuesday with Ron and Gail. And at 7 p.m., we have the foundations class. On Wednesday, 6 p.m. here in the sanctuary, we have visioning. And we vision for not only ourselves, but for Oak Brook, Ocala, Florida, the world, Jamaica, all of us. So that's really, really wonderful and inspiring things. So come on out for that. And then after that, in the youth room, the teens are doing Beyond Limits. And I'm very excited about that because I know that our kids are taking this message out into the schools, to their friends. And, you know, this is our new generation. We really need to get on board with that. And then we have our 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, our AA meeting right here, meditation. And if there are any other announcements, come on up, Rick.
Good morning. I'm up here on behalf of my son Brandon, who his spring air concert out at Westport the past few days so exhausted him that even the Easter Bunny couldn't rouse him this morning. So yeah, that is, yeah, he dragged himself back in right about midnight last night. So yeah. But anyway, in 2 weeks, not the Saturday after CMC, is when we finally start finishing up his Eagle project. Finally, May 3rd, the Saturday at May 3rd, 9 a.m. We're asking if members can bring items for food for the Boy Scouts and the leaders and others who will be here to be helping. Put this in. It's going to be a long, lengthy, dirty, hot project. So we'll probably have about 30 boys and leaders, and frankly, anybody here who would like to come and help or watch or maybe do some other kind of weeding or something around the grounds as well at that time. Please come and take part. So, but thank you. But we will have a sign-up sheet next Sunday for those to sign up on things they can bring for the lunch for the boys and those who will be actually putting the water feature in on May 3rd. Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Didn't make it to the calendar. I'm not sure how, but we have a new gardening club that we're going to be starting here on Earth Day, which is actually this Tuesday. I know it's really late, and it's okay if you guys can't make it to this one. We're going to have a monthly, and we're going to be gathering here in the garden, and we're going to be doing whatever we can to help it be beautiful and make it into everything we want it to be. So if you have even a remote interest in gardening or getting your hands dirty, please see me. On Tuesday, we're going to be here about 5:30, and we'll have refreshments, and we'll be meeting in the garden.
The green team.
Why doesn't Emily? That would be better.
Hi, happy Easter. So, when I was in Alabama, we did this group project at school. It was called the Green Team, and what we did is we took trash bags. We walked around the whole city picking up trash because people like to throw things out of their car when they're driving past, thinking, oh, okay, this doesn't matter. Let's just throw it around. So we gather around. Well, we do have refreshments and everything, but we gather around and we go pick up, and it's for all ages if you want. And we're not going to force you to do this, so it's really... But yes, we grow things. We plant. So it's all natural and it's all green. So we try to pick up all the trash. Make things green.
When exactly is the green team going to be moving? That's part of the gardening?
The green team's going to be weekly.
Weekly, okay. In the garden.
And the gardening team is going to be once a month.
Okay, so gardening once a month. So you guys can go ahead and grab out your calendar and write it on in here. That's the beauty of these things. You can write it in Tuesday, 5:30, which is Earth Day. How exciting is that? Yeah, pretty cool. Right here in the garden. Yeah, bring a change of clothes.
Okay, if there is a child in your family who is 13 years through 18 years, on the 3rd of May, the National Youth Leadership for CSL has created a workshop for the youth of CSL that are age 13 to 18. It's going to be a webinar. It's going to be May 3rd at 3 p.m. So after the Boy Scouts are out there done doing their thing, and everyone's already going to be here, hopefully feeding them. Yeah. Then all the youth are going to come in here. We're going to put it up on the screen. I've already spoken to them. They had 30 spots when it came to how many people they can put on the webcams. But since I can fit multiple kids in my room in here, all the kids get to go. It's totally free. It opens up more spots for them to be able to have other churches to participate as well. Please see me after service if you have a child that would be interested in participating in this, because I have to send them a list this week. Must be 13 years old. That is their only requirement right now. They're not fudging on that for anybody. So all my older kids are probably going to participate is my goal. But it's going to be free. It'll be good.
Yeah, I did some snooping on YouTube and kind of, looked at what some of the CSL youth are doing and with the camp and all this other stuff. And do you understand that some of the things that come out of the mouths of these children are so profound that I'm shocked and just in awe. And it's so wonderful to see that, because it means that these kids are embracing the fact that they're not wretches. Like you said, they're embracing the fact that they're wonderful embodiment of spirit. And I love that they all feel like, yes, I'm worthy, and yes, I'm perfect just the way I am. And so that message is fantastic. And as a parent, that I can't tell you how many kids have come to our home and says that that is their haven. All their friends, they come to our home and say, this is my haven. Not my home, not school, not my own church, but your house. And there's a reason for that. Because they feel the light, and they really get this. And then they take it home to their friends and family. So it's wonderful. All right. And the Science of Mind reading today. I don't know. I'm doing the reading? Oh, it's me. Oh. Well then. Yes, Yes, you have. Yes, that's the thing. We were going to be in the garden today, but it's okay. All right. Today's yes, Sunday, April 20th. A gift of love and healing. I like that. And the quote by Mahatma Gandhi, that service is the noblest which is rendered for its own sake. And then the Science of Mind, page 239, the heart is known as the center of love, which is the healing balm for every inharmonious thought. The following is a fable. A fable is a story that teaches a truth. This does not mean that some of it never happened. Murphy shredded all but one of his stuffed toys. He carried his one toy everywhere. He learned how to bark without dropping it. As long as Murphy had his toy, his tail wagged, and he knew he was safe. Murphy was the only dog I'd ever had that watched television. During action movies, Murphy was sure to have his special toy beside him. One day, I brought home an injured squirrel. I carefully placed it on a towel while Murphy watched. When I went into the kitchen to get a hot water bottle for added warmth, Murphy went to his toy box. He returned with his favorite toy and dropped it at my feet. I picked it up and offered it back to him. He backed away, tipped his head, and barked. I knew exactly what he wanted. I placed his favorite toy next to the injured squirrel. For several days, Murphy stood guard over both his toy and the squirrel. The squirrel got better, and I returned it to the wild. I told this story to a member of my church. She smiled, saying, "If you ever see me without my book of prayers, it is in the hands of a very sick person. My book and Murphy's toys are gifts of love and healing. I know this is true, and so does Murphy." And then the affirmation says, "My gift of love brings healing." Can you guys repeat that with me? My gift of love brings healing. And so it is.
Good job. Good morning. Happy Easter. Happy Easter. Let's stand for The Promise, a wonderful song. And you do have the words, because we plan to be in the garden, on your white sheet. Under Happy Easter, it has the words for The Promise. David Alt.
There's a promise that reaches to the skies above, and a promise planted firmly in the ground, and it covers the oceans, the lands and seas. Yes, it's wide as the world is round. It's a truth as old as the dawn of time, and as bright as a million suns. It's the greatest gift we will ever know, and it's here for everyone. The promise is that God is with us always, forever and ever, my friend. The promise is that God is with us always, forever and ever, amen. This promise lies deep in every heart, always has and always will. If we forget or doubt or turn away, stop, look inside, it's with us still. The promise is that God is with us always, always, forever and ever, my friend. The promise is that God is with us always, forever and ever, amen. God is with us always, forever and ever, my friend. The promise is that God is with us always, forever and ever, amen. He's always there to comfort you, to help you when you're blue. He's there to see you through. He'll lift you up when you're down, set your feet on solid ground. He said he would, he said he would, forever and ever, God is with us always, forever and ever, amen. Forever and ever, amen.
Let's greet and welcome one another, shall we? Cinder. Whichever one you pick up and tell them what it is.
They should all be on.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Well, affirmations are on the sheet. In case you don't know where to look, in case you're new here, very front of the yellow sheet, close to the top. Please say the affirmation with me. I know that I have life because I live and have my being in spirit. That life force which animates everything, animates my thought, and surrounds and fills me. The power of my thought creates because I am spirit in expression. And so it is. And from what we believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. And now with enthusiasm, let's say our Oakbrook affirmation. I am thankful for Oakbrook, for the teaching of the science of mind as an empowering way of life at every age, and for the abundance it brings into my life, my center, and my world. I am grateful for our ever-growing spiritual community of love, freedom, and acceptance. I celebrate with a thankful heart our beautiful new spacious center as we welcome our divine unfoldment through gifts of music, encouragement of our youth, and all life-enhancing activities. Oakbrook's vision supports us all in experiencing full and realized lives as spirit and expression. God's love empowers.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Good
That was
job.
beautiful.
Good job. Yay.
And now let's all just center down into that secret place of the Most High. The energy, the feeling of love, all of that so strong right here today. And we know that the power and presence is with each one. And they know that they experience an amazing gift of intuition. And that the music here today and the words that have been spoken outline Oakbrook, for we are a center of love. Of course, God is everything within us and without. And when we say that God is within, we know that all we have to do is ask how or why, and we will be answered. We know this because we believe, and we know this because we have faith, and we know this before we learn a lot of it right here. And so it is with Reverend Peggy speaking to us today. We know that her message comes through loud and clear, concise and beautifully orchestrated, so that we may add one more tool of enlightenment to our treasures. And for this I give great thanks, and so it is.
So it is.
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter.
Little darling,
it feels like years since it's been here.
Here comes the sun.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Here comes the sun.
sun, and I say,
It's alright.
little darling, the smiles returning to the faces.
Little darling,
It seems like years since they've been here.
here comes the sun.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Here comes the sun.
And I say,
It's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 Little darling,
I feel that ice is slowly melting.
little darling,
It seems like years since it's been clear.
here comes the sun.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Here comes the sun.
And I say,
It's alright. Here comes the sun.
doo-doo-doo-doo.
Here comes the sun.
And I say,
It's alright. It's alright.
I have an invitation for you today. Imagine you'd never heard of Easter before. Imagine you carry no burden from any teaching about Easter with you. Imagine you're discovering for the very first time the life of a man called Jesus. Do you feel lighter? You know, a good share of the Christian world celebrates Easter, but it's preceded with a really heavy burden. What if we could lift that today? What if we could actually get inside the head of Jesus and look at Easter from the perspective of what he intended that Sunday so many years ago? And you know, we celebrate Easter every Sunday, don't we? The Jewish celebrate Friday night, Saturday night till sundown, and because of Easter, the Christians celebrated the resurrection every week. And that's the reason the holy day of the Christian calendar is the first day of the week. You know, the teaching of the science of mind brings a whole new view to Jesus' life as we're ready to let go of the Christian teaching that we might have been raised with or might have heard about if we didn't come to church as a youngster growing up. I love to think that our science of mind teaching actually turns the old untruths into truths that Jesus would line himself up with today. And so that's what I'm going to invite us to do today, is to go back and follow the life of Jesus from the inside out in the way that Ernest Holmes might describe it, our founder, and the way others in the New Thought movement might find it, rather than from the perspective of Paul. Because, you know, most Christian churches are not celebrating Jesus' Christianity. They're celebrating Paul's worship of Jesus and all of his letters as he built the Christian community in Greece and so forth in the world. And that's what's come forward today to us. And many lives are blessed by the Christian teaching, and I'm not saying anything against it, other than for me, I really need to look at it from a different perspective in order for it to make sense. Because the Jesus that I know and loved was never a victim. So how can we make sense of the biblical story and raise Jesus to the place that he belongs in Christhood without him having been a victim? He said, I've come that you might have life, and that's my title today. What if that's really why he came? What if that's really the gift that Jesus had for us, and as we own that gift, then we have more life than we had without it? And if you notice my voice is a little different today, I have been experiencing a little cold this last week and been keeping very quiet the last few days to save my voice for this morning. But I know you'll bear with me with this. Unless you've never had a cold. I don't get them too often, and I try not to get them on the Sunday that I'm speaking, right? Okay, so let's take a look at Jesus' life. He was born in an amazing way, and whether we celebrate that at a different time of the year, so I'm not going to spend much time there. But I am going to talk about his vision, knowing something that he wanted everyone else to know, and that was his relationship with the divine. And through things that he said, such as, my Father and I are one. Now, I think Jesus did the things that the Bible said, for the most part, and he said the things that he said, although they were always out of context, you know. Because the actual Gospels were collected from sayings of Jesus and then put together from those cute documents, so according to the research, into story form. So what he said here might really go with the story over here. So we can take the pieces of his speaking out. And I this last week read the whole book of John again, because it's one of my favorites, especially as it comes to the Easter story. And you might want to read John again. What were the things that Jesus really wanted to share with the world? He had discovered that he had power to do something that was wonderful. And he wasn't going to keep it a secret any longer. There are stories about how he came to know this and about cultures that were subcultures within the Jewish faith at that time, and that others could do what Jesus did, but he was the one that came out and talked to the general populace about it. And so here's Jesus. He says, this has been a secret maybe long enough, and I want everybody to know the blessing that this has. And also to think about how rotten life was back then for the common people. I mean, here they are. The Romans are overrunning the country. The leadership, both in the church and in political life, are cooperating so they don't get pushed out or killed or crucified. And the common people are just pushed down and down and down. They don't think they're worth anything from what they were hearing from the authorities of their time. So who did Jesus come to talk to? The very people whose life was at the very bottom of the ladder of success or opportunity or even having enough to eat or wholeness in their lives. I've come that ye might have life, he said. And he did try to teach in the synagogues for a while, but nobody there wanted to listen to him. So he says, well, what's the point in wasting my time here, right? I might as well go out and talk in the fields and let those that want to hear me come to me. And then he had this wonderful advertising plan. He healed people. I mean, what a great marketer he was, right? I mean, if they didn't want to hear what he had to say, they probably knew someone who was sick that he could heal, and they were going to come along and just see what would happen. So here's this wise man who has this wonderful teaching, and he knows it, and he's proven it in his own life, and he wants to share it with people. And so what does he share? And he's frivolous too, isn't he? He isn't just practical. What was his first miracle? Wine at the wedding, right? Yes, that wasn't necessarily the ultimate in necessity, but it helped them have a better time, right? And then he went around doing good and healing people, and they came to him, and everyone who came for healing was healed, except in his hometown where they knew he was the carpenter's son, and they didn't really believe. So he said, always your faith has made you whole. And those were the ones that he healed, whether they were blind from birth or whether it was something that they couldn't get to the waters while the angel stirred it up fast enough, or whether it was a child at a distance that the parent wanted healed. He healed them. because the people believed that he could. And of course, this is where the New Thought philosophy comes from back in the 1800s when Quimby and others began healing people because they felt they had rediscovered the way that Jesus healed. And our whole movement is based on healing, thinking that they had uncovered the way that Jesus healed and put it into practice. And we all get the blessing of that in this room today and in other New Thought churches. Okay, so here's the things. Jesus wanted to eradicate lack of abundance consciousness, right? He said, those who have shall have more, and those who don't have anything will get less. And yet, he was talking about thought. He was talking about consciousness. And so when the multitudes came, there was the miracle of feeding the 5,000 or the 10,000, depending on the story. There were the stories of the fishermen that couldn't catch any fish, and when he told them to put their nets down on the other side of the boat, then the net was overly full, right? I mean, think about what faith was doing to individuals because he believed something. And so here is this wonderful, compassionate, loving man who had a power to create. And what is it that we're looking for in our lives? The power to create the life that we desire. And Jesus was talking about just that. The very things that were enumerable as problems in individuals' lives were the very things that Jesus both talked about and proved that he knew what he was talking about. Powerful man. Misunderstood man. Even his disciples were lining up to be on his court when he became king, you know? They thought that he was a Messiah of a political nature. Even when he rode in on the donkey on Palm Sunday, last Sunday. They thought that he was come to overthrow the Romans, to overthrow the king, to bring a world of peace to the people like David might have done a couple thousand years before. Or 1,000 or however many it was. That's what they thought Jesus was about. But he wasn't, was he? He was here to bring a message that was so far-reaching that it would invite everyone on the planet to know who they are in relationship to the divine. The Father and I are one. And Jesus knew he wasn't different from anybody else. So what is it that he was saying other than the Father and you are one? You and the divine are one. That's the truth about us all, and that was the message that he came to tell us, that we don't need to be downtrodden anymore, that we can be healed of whatever challenge, colds or otherwise, right? And I know that this too shall pass. But it also has given me an opportunity to spend some time with some of my favorite books this week in preparation for today, because I was just lying around except for coming on Friday and raking some leaves off the roof and other things I was doing this week. But I was doing a lot of resting in the last 2 days. This idea that what I'm excited about our teaching really does culminate on Easter Sunday, and I wanted to bring that message to us all. Okay, so here we have a man that knows that he's one with God, but also knows he's not different from anyone else. These things that I do, ye shall do also, if you do it the way that I'm doing it. Look at the way I'm doing it, and you can do it too. And he sent them out to heal, didn't he? Not just the 12 disciples, he sent them out 70 and more by twos to heal everywhere. It wasn't something that only Jesus could do. That's gotten forgotten over the last few hundred years until New Thought came along. And now a lot more nursing homes would be so pleased that a lot of the mainstream churches are getting better at healing than they were for hundreds of years because they'd set that aside as only Jesus could do, and now they're remembering that it's something we all can do. Jesus was not a victim. So let's talk about last Friday and what happened. Certainly there have been some really graphic movies made lately that are supposed to make us feel really guilty for all the mistakes we've made, right? And grateful that Jesus saved us from that. But that's not what I believe. I believe we were not born in sin, but born in blessing. And that within us all is everything that we need to heal ourselves, including being forgiven and rising above. And we save ourselves by knowing who we are. So why did Jesus do it? So if he was here to teach us that abundance is the truth, and that wholeness is the truth, and that relationships can be wonderful because God is love, what would be the last holdout that people really needed to learn about? How about that life is eternal? Now, how do you go about teaching people that life is eternal other than dying? And you can't die in the cave back there somewhere and nobody notice, right? You're going to have to die in a very visible way. And Jesus set us up for that. Remember the story of Lazarus? And that might not have happened too long before Holy Week, when he raised Lazarus from the dead. And Jesus was very clear that he knew that Lazarus was sick days before he went. And his very good friends, Mary and Martha and Lazarus, had faith in what he could do in healing people, and they were hoping he'd come sooner. He very clearly waited until no one could question that Lazarus had died. So that the Pharisees couldn't say, oh, he was just, ill and he stopped breathing for a while. If you're dead for 4 days, that probably counts, right? And Jesus came. And Mary or Martha said, well, if you'd been here, Lazarus wouldn't have died. And they'd already rolled the stone across the tomb and wrapped him in the little white cloth that they wrap him in and the napkin on the face. And they'd already known he'd started to smell. So when Jesus asked them to roll the stone away, they were hesitant to do that. He says, oh, no, we can't roll the stone away. He says, roll the stone away. And then he communed with the Father. And he said, Father, I thank thee that thou hearest me, and I know you'll always hear me. And even in the text it says, it's so that they could hear him say it. He was teaching in that moment. He was encouraging people to know what he was lining them up to come to understand. That Lazarus didn't have to stay dead that day. And he raised him from the dead. And he kept during this time telling them over and over again that he was going to either be crucified and rise again, or he's going to go away and come back. There are different ways he was trying to share with his disciples that there was something going to happen of significance, that he would be taken from them, but that he would return. And of course, there's the Gospel of Judas. You might have read it, right? Of how Judas wasn't the bad guy after all. But he and Jesus were in cahoots to have the Romans come at that time, to take him away, and all of that to unfold. If Jesus was wanting to prove his power in a different way, he could have done it, couldn't he? Even the Roman Pontius Pilate said that, or Herod said that. And I love Jesus Christ Superstar, where Herod is asking him, walk across that swimming pool if you're the king of the Jews, He's inviting him to do something now so that he doesn't have Jesus' life on his head. He knew that Jesus was popular, right? He wasn't really sure he wanted to be involved. And both Pontius Pilate and Herod kept trying to take the ownership of the choice away from themselves. But the people were really stirred up by this time. And who's to say that there weren't among Jesus' disciples those that were egging them on? If Jesus had Judas in his corner about this choice. How many of you have ever had severe pain and yet been outside of it? Don't you think that Jesus could have hung on the cross and not really suffered? I think so. I think that there was something in the spiritual nature of Jesus that was up for the task at hand to hang on the cross and die there. His spiritual self was untouched. He knew that was going to be the case, right? Until that day, there really wasn't a belief in immortality. So to me, this is why I celebrate Easter so greatly, is because I probably would not have known, if I'd ever existed at all since then, about immortality if Jesus hadn't given us this gift. He was not a victim. He did not suffer on the cross, although his body looked like a man was suffering. He was standing a part of that, probably. Just as when I was so severely ill back in the 1980s and racked with pain, I could step outside of that and almost be an observer of it. And those of you who have had that kind of pain know that that's possible. And if we can do it in small ways, why couldn't Jesus have done that in a large way? Such that he could give us the gift of our understanding of immortality. So here we have these things unfolding, and they unfolded in a wonderful way, in such that those that are around Jesus got to experience the full result of his passing. I mean, Peter denied him 3 times, and Jesus predicted that would happen. All of his disciples, except for John perhaps, had left because they didn't also want to be killed. All of them escaped. Jesus was buried in a tomb, wrapped in that white stuff and napkin on his face. The stone was rolled in place late that Friday. In a hurry to do that because the Sabbath was coming, and they didn't want to be doing any work on the Sabbath. But when the Sabbath was over, and that Sunday morning, I love that it was women that went to the tomb first. Don't you girls like that too? I love that it was women that first discovered that he was risen. And then, of course, the men didn't believe them, but so what, right? As a matter of fact, I got a postcard once, years ago, when I had written an article for the newspaper, and someone that was taking exception to a woman being a minister wrote me a card. And they said, well, you know, the Marys were not listened to when they went to the tomb because women aren't listened to, and so you shouldn't be a minister or something like that. It was used as a biblical reference of why women should not be ministers, is because men will never believe them, you know. But I like to think I get believed once in a while, and then maybe you're on board with me with my thinking this morning. This concept is that Jesus was this powerful spiritual individual who wanted to give the greatest gift possible. And so he gave us the gifts of wholeness and understanding how to heal ourselves, gifts of abundance, gifts of wonderful love and compassion, and then the gift of knowing that we will never die. Wow, what a gift that is. To know that the loved ones that we have that have gone before aren't dead at all. And we know that, don't we? We get perhaps communication with them. Maybe they're standing back here egging me on right now, you know. We have a lot of folks that were very much the center of Oak Brook who are not here on this plane anymore. And often I feel their encouragement to get a little more bold than I might have gotten without their encouragement, you know. This morning might be an example of that. This wonderful idea that Jesus came that we might have life. And so I invite us all this morning to receive the gift of Easter. Receive the concept that you are a divine spiritual being, that healing is the truth of your being, and whenever something comes along where you don't feel whole, perfect, and complete, you know it's going to pass, right? That even when we exit this life, we have something calling us to the next life that's even more wondrous than this life. Not that we're in a hurry to leave, but we leave this life because there's something new calling us to express life there. And that's the truth of all of our loved ones who have gone before. I've come that you might have life. So this morning I invite you to decide what life means to you. And know that perhaps Jesus came and our whole movement exists to help us live the fullest life possible. We live our life differently, I believe, when we don't fear death. Is that true for you? That the second half of life has new promise to us, and if that's not the case, we might live in dread from who knows what age forward. To know that there isn't any hell, isn't that a great one? That we just keep growing and growing and growing, that God is only a God of love and never a God of punishment, That non-condemnation is at the very heart of divine love, that wonderful compassion that God has for us. That we get to be in hell as long as we make the mistakes that keep us there, but it's in consciousness. It's not a place that we have to fear. Jesus came that we might have life. So let's turn to our affirmation. That one that Sender read with you at first in the yellow page, right under the word affirmation. And I give thanks that my voice held out, and that you stayed with me through a very strange voice this morning. Inside my head, I sound like Patricia Neal. Okay, let's do our affirmation together. I know that I have life because I live and have my being in spirit. That life force which animates everything, animates my thought, and surrounds and fills me. The power of my thought creates because I am spirit in expression, and so it is. Let's turn within. How wonderful it is to know that someone of such deep wisdom was willing to come that we might have life. That was willing to step up to the plate for everything that was necessary, to teach us everything that we who are open to receive the gift, receive the gift. In every area of life and in the area of the ongoingness of life. I give thanks for Jesus. I give thanks for Easter. I give thanks for New Thought and our teachers in this movement who clarify ideas that make such sense to me. I give thanks for an awesome God that has created all this and that my life is blessed because of it. I give thanks for the encouragement we give one another along life's path. And I give thanks for the work that each of us has to do that is so important in this moment, in the days ahead, and through eternity. I give thanks that this is so, and so it is.
Happy day,
Oh, happy day.
oh happy day,
Oh, happy day.
when spirit washed,
When spirit washed.
when spirit washed,
When spirit washed.
when spirit washed,
When spirit washed.
wash my fears away.
Oh, happy day.
Oh happy day,
Oh, happy day.
la 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 la
La la la la la la la
la la la la la
la la la la la
la la la la la la la
la la la la la la
la la
la la la.
Oh happy day,
Oh, happy day.
oh happy day,
Oh, happy day.
when spirit washed,
When spirit washed.
when spirit washed,
When spirit washed.
when my spirit
When
washed,
spirit washed.
wash my fears away. La 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 la
La la la la la la la.
la 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 la
La
la.
la la la. It taught me how.
It taught me how
to sing, love and pray, love and pray,
and it taught me how to live
rejoicing every day.
Thank you, Joyful Noise. Thank you, Alore. Stand up, Alore. Yeah. Look at everybody. Turn around. Very nice. Thank you. We're so blessed. Another gift of Easter right there. Yeah. Another gift of Easter. It's time now to celebrate our abundance. Wait a minute, Betty. Yeah. We're going to bless it first. Yeah. Okay. Now you may have memorized our affirmation, but if you don't, again, we were to be in the garden, so it's in your yellow sheet rather than on the screen today. So let's take our gift to our heart, or if we do it with our cell phone or mail it in, just put our hand to our heart and feel ourselves in that flow of awesome abundance as we share our affirmation in unison together. I am thankful. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong one. See, if it were on the screen, I couldn't make that mistake, could I? Okay, how good it is to know that I am the place where the abundance of the universe flows, and as the abundance flows through me, it is with a grateful heart that I give. I know that as I give, so much more is given back to me. Gratefully and joyfully, I give of my time, my talents, my gifts, and my heart. And so it is. And those with prayer requests, hold them up so that Carol will find you with the prayer chest.
They say you can't take it with you when you go, no. So I'm gonna just enjoy myself, go with the flow.
This is in honor of Easter, I guess, that we're singing that's the song.
My money is like a bunny, it goes forth and multiplies. I send it out and let it go, it comes back to me in time. My joy is overflowing, I know God is my source. My money is like a bunny, it goes forth and multiplies. Talk about that money.
Yes, come on up.
My money is like a bunny, it goes forth and multiplies. Send it out, let it go, it comes back to me in time.
I invite us to turn within, to feel ourselves in this flow of divine everything. I give thanks especially for our gifts and tithes today, for I know that this center exists because it is a divine idea and because of the givingness of each one. That as we give to Spirit and through our giving, we give to one another, we give to ourselves, and the center continues to be in service. I give thanks also for the understanding that we can't outgive God, that which we give in faith believing is always multiplied tenfold and more, and it comes back full circle to bless our lives in the area of money and in all other areas as well. I give thanks for our prayer requests today. I know that the answer to each and every request already exists in divine mind. And that our prayer ministry team will be praying about these requests this week in confidence, knowing that the outcome is assured or exceeded. I give thanks that all of this is so. And so it is. And since we're so blessed this morning to have Megan Morganfield with us, let's give her a hand. I was so thrilled to find she had called me when we were on the cruise a week and a half ago, and I found the note a little later in the week and that she was still open for us. We're not the first church she attended this morning. You did do a sunrise service up in Gainesville. But we're blessed to have her with us. So we're not going to sing in the garden this morning. We're going to allow her to gift us with our meditation song, and then she'll also be playing behind Cindy. as Cindy does our affirmative prayer.
Thank you. These are on? Yeah, okay. This is a song that's very inviting. So it's the first words are, and I'll sing it and do it where I sing it, and then you respond by singing it with me the second time. All the seeds of my dreams begin with my intention. Ready? All the seeds of my dreams begin with my intention. Same thing again. All the seeds of my dreams begin with my intention. And then I'll repeat the next line. I am open to receiving. I am open to creating. Ready? I am open to receiving. I am open to creating. Next line. From the moment of believing, I can live my passion. From the moment of believing, I can live my passion. Together, all the seeds of my dreams. All the seeds of my dreams begin with my intention. All the seeds of my dreams begin with my intention. I am open to receiving. I'm open to creating. I am open to creating. From the moment of believing, from the moment of believing, I can live my passion. Once more, all the seeds of my dreams begin with my intention. All the seeds of my dreams begin with my intention. I am open to receiving. I am open to receiving. I'm open to creating. I am open to creating. From the moment of believing, I can live my passion. I can live my passion. One more time. I can live my passion.
Yes, we can indeed. We can live our passion. And if you take this time to just settle down into that secret place of the Most High, and if you feel so moved, close your eyes and just turn within. Feel yourself in the presence. That oneness that runs in and around and through all things. The power that moves the tides, that animates our being, that heals our bodies and creates new life. I am part of that one. I am part of that strength. I am part of that power. I am part of that love and that passion and that flow of life. And as part of that oneness, I speak my word for myself and for all those here present today. There is only one truth, and that truth is love. That truth is the flow of life. That truth is good. That truth is one. And that truth is who we are. And so I just know that if anyone is experiencing any challenge, any seeming challenge in their life, that this is the point in the day of resurrection, that we overcome those challenges. They become stepping stones to an even greater fulfillment, to greater joy, to greater expression of life. I know that regardless of circumstance, that everything is exactly as it should be. That if we feel challenges in relationships and finances in any area of our lives and our health, that those are merely illusions. That each and every one here overcomes any and all challenges through the strength and the power and the love and the joy that runs in and around and through all things and in and around and through each and every one here present today. I know that each one is safe. I know that each one is secure. I know that each one is loved and whole and perfect and complete. And that abundance is the truth of being for each and every one here. I know that each one is a blessing. Because each one is blessed, and we are blessed so that we may be a blessing to others. And so I know that each one goes out and touches lives in unique ways that only they can do. Just shining their light ever more brightly, expanding ever more into greater awareness and greater understanding of who they really are. So I release these words to the law with great excitement and enthusiasm for knowing that it is already done. And please join me in saying, and so it is.
How many are hungry? Stay for brunch, and we do have a film. We're going to be seeing what was shown on Monday morning at convention with our spiritual leader and a guest speaker. So stay for that for Prosperity Club. But let's stand now, form a circle. We'll do our peace song. And
the song is over. Brian would like to ask that everyone please help set up the table before forming a line.
Oh, we got to do birthdays too. Yes. Who has an April birthday? April birthday. Oh, let's go get it. Let's get it. Yeah. It's a really pretty cake. It has Easter on it. Alex, you know, there's no kids.
There's a little Easter egg. Who has Steph? Sean. Sean, you gotta stand with Alex. You're gonna sing happy birthday to you. Since your birthday's this week, we need to stand with Alex. And Micah. Micah has a 1 year.
We're waiting for the camps.
He was from 0, now he's 1.
Are we ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, God bless you. Happy birthday to you.
Can you blow up? Okay. Can you blow up?
For just a minute here, we didn't bless our food. Let's do that first before we sing the peace song. Testing. Yes. Let's just turn within for a moment. Giving thanks for the bounty, giving thanks for the love that's created the food that we're about to partake, giving thanks for the fellowship and the love, for this very special time together on Easter, where we know who we are as God in expression and celebrate that because we know everyone across the table is God in expression as well. I give thanks that this is so, and so it is. Okay, we're ready.